What's going on, everybody? Canuck here, and welcome to the first of hopefully a few videos in just kind of an unedited look on how I create courses, which I know a lot of people in my comments have been asking for. I did a complete course construction series a few years ago when I did an entire build from start to finish on YouTube. I'm not really planning on doing that this year because that was a lot, and it can be tough to do. So I do want to do a few sessions taking a look at this course and just kind of talk my way through my thoughts, how I design, what I do, and just kind of go from there. So this is going to be a bit of an unedited look just at how I create my courses. So this is a course I am currently working on. It may be my course for the upcoming World Cup of Design contest. I'm putting no pressure on myself to actually finish it. If you're interested in the World Cup of Design and what exactly that is, no, you can't compete in it because the field's already been set and everything. But I will post some information in the comments below on what exactly that is. But anyway, I have started the first couple holes on this new course, which is going to be kind of a foresty, I don't know, a lot of rocky outcroppings. I started with just a few, and then I kind of went a little bit nuts on it. But yeah, I'll show you kind of my process and how I did that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy overall with kind of how the first holes have turned out. So this is the first hole, which is, oh, let's just play it. This is a relatively long par 5. Let's put a little bit of wind on it. And yeah, let's just play this course here. All right, so our opening hole, right now it's sitting at about 580 yards. I definitely pinched the fairway here, so you definitely you might have to dip down to a 3-wood, which I don't love on the first hole, but if you're accurate enough, which I think I am, it will be no problem. All right, second shot is an uphill approach into this kind of a 2-tiered green here, although that second tier isn't too much higher. We do have a little runoff here. Fun little first hole, I think. A good scoring hole, I think, to get you started. Nice little 3-wood. I'm a little bit further to the right here. Oh, I got a good kick, though. I got a good kick. A very good kick. That will sit quite nicely. Okay, from here. And we make our eagle putts. This course is too easy. My goodness. All right, second hole. I had a lot of fun planting this. A lot of planting, a lot of terrain painting. But it's just a relatively simplistic little downhill par 3. Sitting at 179 yards. You got to watch this ridge here. Kind of the play is kind of to land it up there and let it funnel down with this pin. Which I might have overshot this. I have, definitely. And I'm in the back bunker. All right, let's just pick this out here. Let's try that again. There we go. That's a bit better. So this is pretty much all I have so far. There's not much to it yet. Today we're going to kind of just put a few little touches on the first couple holes and maybe do some initial planning with this third hole. So yeah, I guess we're going to maybe call this episode 1. This is not really going to be complete course construction, but I have done a couple streams recently, both on YouTube and Twitch, where 2 streams I've done basically the whole build of this course. So you can check them out on my channel, as well as I believe I built the second hole. I believe I just did no, I think that one's on YouTube as well. But anyway. So yeah, I do like the first hole. I do have this kind of open area here, which I'm kind of deciding what I want to do. Probably need to put some trees or something down here, but I am, because of the lighting right now, I'm a little cognizant of the shadows. As you can see, the shadows are really long. And I don't want to plant too high up because I really like where this green is. I don't want it to be affected with shadows too much, but we'll throw in some trees and kind of see what we do here. So we'll build just a little tree line. So I kind of want to go maybe about there is about as far as I can go with trees, and then maybe I can build some like little more rocky outcroppings like I was doing on the first hole, just to make it a little more visually interesting. So yeah, I'm looking at, things like plant meter, all that kind of stuff. I'm a little higher than I like to be. I'd kind of like to set a general rule to myself in terms of that object meter down below. I like to be at about 5% a hole. And the first few holes obviously are a little bit more planting. Once we come up to some holes that are obviously sharing tree lines, the planting becomes a little bit less. But I do like to save a few percent for any kind of finishing touches, clubhouses, stuff like that. So yeah, there's kind of just a little basic kind of tree line. We're gonna just terrain paint that a little bit. Kind of just see this little kind of dirty, well, almost like a forest floor, which is really nice that you can do that now. It's been a while since I've come to this course. I think it's a subsoil A. I think I have it set to a pretty low intensity, kind of in the 40s. Then we can just paint it along here. Wait a minute. Is this a subsoil A? It is a subsoil A. What's the intensity at? Maybe it's a little bit higher. That's at about 50. Okay, that's why. That's why I haven't touched this, like I said, in a little while. So, and I did spline it there. I guess we could spline it here too. Maybe let's try that and see what we get for an effect. Still playing around with this terrain painting. There's just so much now with this game that you can do to really make your courses shine. All right, there we go. That's creating a bit more of a forest floor. And then here, I probably am going to want to do some more kind of rocky outcroppings like I was doing here. That is going to be kind of the theme of this course. It is going to be quite rocky. Now, I was kind of basing this inspiration off of, well, the original inspiration was off a course called Predator Ridge, which is a few hours from where I live in British Columbia, in like the interior region, and it's this really nice, just a beautiful course, kind of a mix of open and kind of closed in, a little bit of rock. I've kind of gone a little crazy with the rock. There's not this much rock at Predator Ridge, so it's kind of gone to a bit of my own, and that always happens with inspiration. It's hard to quite match exactly what you want to do. All right, so now we're going to build in some of this rock. Just a light brushing here. There we go. And then just to give it a little bit of definition, we're just going to bring it up in a few spots like that. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a flat rock painting, which I try to avoid. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's kind of closed the hole in a little bit. And then we're just going to do probably a few bushes. This bush here is really my go-to for kind of undergrowth. You can find this. Where is it? Bush. Right about here, yeah. It's so like 8th page, 2nd row. That one and that one is usually pretty good. Those ones are all pretty good for undergrowth. So what I like to do is take that bush, just like sink it down so it's just kind of popping up. And I tend to use a lot of these bushes on this style of golf course. I just think it looks kind of nice. So if I do future episodes with this, and I do have a lot of planting, I may do a little time lapse just to speed things up, but we're just, I'm just kind of seeing what you guys, the audience, your response to a video like this, and if you guys want to see more of this in any future content. Okay, so a little bit more, I think. I'm just kind of trying to look at what I was doing here. Yeah, pretty straightforward. No, I'm not doing a lot with grass. I'm kind of doing a little bit more grass kind of up here where it really shows, but grass kills the plant meter, so I don't want to use too much of it. Maybe a little bit more planting in here. Like so. And yeah, that's looking pretty solid, I think. I would kind of say this hole is like 98% done. We got to play test it a little bit more, which I tend to save for a little bit later on in the process, but we're just trying to get holes down. That's really my main goal right now. So okay. So that is hole 1. Hole 2, like I said, is pretty darn close to completion. I may just do a little bit more terrain painting. Nice thing about the terrain painting is it's free. So it is not affecting our plant meter at all. It just adds a bit of interest what's going on outside the course here. Or not directly on the playing area, I guess. You know what I mean. I'll just kind of do that. All right. Now, we'll see how this episode goes. Because guess how many ideas I have for hole 3 currently? None. And yeah, trying to come up with one on the fly. Not recommended, but especially when you're trying to do content. But hey, I've always kind of been that designer that flies by the seat of their pants, and doesn't make for interesting content if you just see me sitting there staring at a blank canvas for 45 minutes. So, but that being said, I probably should have had somewhat of an idea before I flip this on. So we'll see. All right. And then I'm like trying to think, do I need a little bit more grass? I don't think I need any grass. I think we're just going to keep that in here. Really happy with the planting and kind of how this hole turned out. Really nice. I think we'll keep that there for now. As we have a little path, which this looks like an ankle breaker, this path. Let's flatten this out a bit. There we go. Something like that. Beautiful. So the little dirt path takes us close to the 3rd tee box. So right now, I have the 3rd hole as being a relatively short. We're at 345, and it's downhill 65 feet. So we're almost in the drivable territory, which could be fun. So I am kind of maybe seeing extending this and maybe making a big rock, almost like a big rock wall in the way here. Could kind of be fun. And players might have to even try to clear it if they want to reach the green. I don't know. It's just popping out at me right now. That would be a little bit on the silly side, but that's okay. Let's clear some trees here. These are just some auto-generated trees that I like to put in just for interest's sake and just to give me some ideas. Ideas. Things I lack. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's just play around. I'm just going to hit the save button here for the first time. Let's just play around with this kind of rock. Maybe have this kind of extending. Make it even quite a bit higher, actually. I don't really want to make this visible. green visible, I mean, from the tee. Kind of be a fun hole. I'm just trying to create a golf course that I think might be kind of fun. Might be kind of fun. Not gonna win any architecture contests, but I mean, that could be like just a giant kind of fun rock face to play with. How far is it from the tee? I might extend the tee out actually a bit too. I do have some room to play with. Like, that's 260 downhill. People are just gonna crush it by there. 42. Well, let's just want to do a little just testy test here. Even though there is no tee box down, but is that sort of reachable? Okay, so that's that. You can get a pin high pretty much right from that distance with this sculptor technician too, which is he's not a long hitter anyway. So what I may do is I may back this tee box up. Maybe into the kind of 370 range, maybe. Just kind of pop that tee box up a bit. All right, so this could kind of be kind of a little downhill walk. We could plant this, a lot of grass in here, then kind of a path down the hill, and then leading to the fairway, which will be kind of down at the bottom of the hill. Not a very big fairway, rather short fairway. And then kind of create maybe something where we can potentially bounce this onto the green. So maybe, if anything, I'd gotta have some bunkers maybe at the back. So I'm just gonna flatten a little bit of this out. So I did make the decision to not remove the auto flattening, which I think a lot of experienced designers would say is a bit more of a rookie move. But I just find this is a natural rolling landscape that I can come up with more ideas with. When I do auto flatten and add my own stuff in, I definitely find it a lot harder to come up with my own ideas. But that just is maybe how my brain works. So, okay, so I think we'll just get rid of a couple of trees. We'll get rid of these two, because this is kind of where the fairway will extend out to. Yeah, and this will actually help with shadows too, because if I don't plant a lot of rock, or because the shadows are going to be all coming down this way, and because they're going to be built on a hill, they're going to be really long shadows. So if I make this just a lot of exposed rock with some more shrubs instead of tall trees, I think that can really help it. This 4 is gonna, where's 4? 4 is gonna come around here. Okay. So let me just remove the waypoints so they're not in the way. All right. So, just trying to do some just initial sculpting first. Maybe that can be some sort of rocky area too, but almost like a bowl. And then, you know, I might put a bunker here and a bunker here to catch anything that's, you know, people trying to go for it. They're a little bit too far left. But I do want to reward people that kind of get it down into this gully here. I maybe rolls on, but that is going to take some testing to get right. But let's at least get the shape down here first. So I'm going to draw it out. And I believe the green's not going to be very deep. Gonna be a bit of a funky one too. Have some interesting pins here. So maybe something like that. That is actually seems like maybe a bit of a larger green. Hard to tell. And I think what I would do is, yeah, anything left, or sorry, right, is going to get caught up by some series of maybe a couple bunkers here. I don't know the shape yet, but something like that. Maybe another smaller bunker up here, just to catch anything that's left. Trying to think about what the back of the green might do. Maybe I'd jam a bunker in here too. Just, you know, I want to tease. I want to definitely entice people to drive the green here. Short par fours, especially downhill ones. Balancing that risk reward is tough, but you do it right, you can make a real fun, memorable hole. Not sure if this one is anywhere close to memorable yet, but we're gonna do our best. So now, really it's the landing spot of the tee shot where we want it to land and kind of get a bounce. This is about 333, and I mean, that seems like a lot, but downhill, 72 feet, even with no wind, I think people are gonna probably land it there. But I don't want to make it a massive landing spot. So I do want to challenge people. Maybe have it come off here. And then we're going to widen it up here because this is where anyone laying up is going to be wanting to end up. The fairway will probably end about here. So it is going to be meant to kind of wrap around this piece here. Well, what's going to be a rock face. There we go. And then, you know, maybe a couple bunkers here just to catch any miss-hit layups. Nothing too bad, but maybe something at the end of the fairway. Maybe one here that catches this tree as being a bother. Shadow-wise. Oop. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a silly hole, as a lot of my holes are. But could be fun. Something like that. Gonna be a fairly bunker heavy hole here. And maybe, again, these are just placeholders really. Get to these in a shortly. Those will also kind of help frame the shot too. So yeah, it's really just like how high do I might even bring this face up even higher. And I might even use some of these sharper edges too. Again, that is going to be rock. I think this has potential. I think this really, really has potential. Yeah, so that's essentially kind of how I want this to look. And then we'll do, I'm doing 4 tee boxes, so I'll probably bring that down a little bit because I do want to be able to see from here a good chunk of the fairway. Just kind of getting sight lines down can be shoot there. Might have even gone a bit too far, but let's actually get these surfaces down so we can really see what we're dealing with here. Actually save this because I'm that confident how this is going to look. We'll see. All right. Now, did I correctly estimate correct size of the green I want? I'm usually aiming for anything like in the 80 to 120 yard range. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wanted it a bit on the small end, so that's actually about perfect. Okay. As you can see, it does auto flatten it there a bit, which does create a little extra work. But again, some people don't like this because when you're doing the actual flattening, a lot of designers will argue that that'll take away the subtleties in the natural undulations of the course, and I totally get that. But yeah, I mean, if you're a newer designer who's not really concerned with that, hey, I've been designing for a while and I'm not overly concerned with every bump on my golf course. Yeah, you kind of do what you want at the end of the day. All right. So there we go. We'll obviously fix this up, but have I left enough? I mean, it'll be really fun if I make this rock too. People could bounce it, and who knows where they're gonna end up. So could be a real interesting. And then the layup, it's the play obviously. You lay it up, it's not going to be a super difficult hole. Probably going to make a 2-tiered green as well. Okay, let's throw down a fairway. We're around in the corner here. And again, as we're doing this, I do want to say thank you guys so much. Now I've been very spotty with my activity, especially in the last couple of years, but those new people that have found me and those that have stuck with me and they'll continue to watch my stuff, thank you. Always still blown away by the support. All right, there we go. Get back. Okay. This is interesting. We'll give it that. Add the secondary light rough there. Okay. And we will... Well, let's sculpt. See, this is where the auto sculpting is a giant pain. As it does that. But again, we're just going to iron it out. It's not that hard to actually fix. Clicking and dragging. Part did flatten a little bit high. I'm not sure why it went so high. But yeah, pretty easy to fix, as you can see. Just doing a quick pass right now. That is a very quick pass. You just kind of go around and touch up where you feel you need to. Okay, there's our fairway down. I've made this relatively large. But I do kind of like, you know, this is moving away, so even a layup, you know, you got to be careful. Too far, and that could bounce really hard into the... I might even make that a little bit more extreme. I might even bring this up a few more feet. Something like that. Okay, now we're gonna add some bunkers. Actually, you know, considering these were kind of rough drafts of bunkers, I don't hate those two anyway. Try to get a little bit closer to said fairway. Go. Smooth that out a touch. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. Little corner here. Again, I have talked about like splining versus shaping bunkers. Really depends on what you want to do. I've done both to, I'd say, varying levels of success. I kind of like both, but I feel like the splines are a little bit easier to use in this iteration, so I am tending to find myself splining bunkers, but I would recommend, obviously, pick one method and stick with it for the remainder of your course, especially with your like default bunkers. Again, even though these bunkers do a very good job at sculpting themselves for the most part, they still do need a hand in the spots. Even in this bunker, it's going to need a little bit of help. A little bit of help. Okay. And this guy... And I'm doing this a little on the quicker side, maybe a little quicker than I would normally if I were designing offline, but I'll probably touch these up at a later date. Okay, so from the tee, which is right there, love those bunkers. From the tee, I'm gonna say not really. I don't. I really don't. And this happens a lot. In fact, I kind of know where I'm going to put all the bunkers, so let's just delete those. I think they were just a little bit too big. What I was trying to do there. Let's try this again. Like that. Oh, I want to do this. I don't think I'm going to like this. In fact, I can already tell I'm not going to really like that much. Well, let's just see how this one is first. Not bad. We may go off the script with this one. It's going to look very similar to the first one, I think. Better. A little sculpting around here. Oh, too deep. This side is a little bit too shallow. It's better. Bit of a tricky one to build because it's kind of on a side hill too, but that's okay. Okay. All right. Now we've got a few more smaller bunkers we're probably going to build. I'm going to put one right there. Probably more of just like a round one. This is not round. Got another idea in my... Oh, that's way too big. That looks awful. That's when you had I have two ideas in my head at the same time, and my brain was pulling me in two different directions. This is just going to be... Whoa. That's not what I wanted. What the heck? Weird. Doing some strange things. There we go. Probably just something like that. just kind of see it. I might even bring that tee box a little further to the right as well. Kind of a fun hole. Okay. There we go. Maybe one more here. Definitely a bit more of a heavy, bunkered hole. Probably need putting way more spline points than I need to, but let's just lay these down first, and then we'll sculpt them after. I'd even add to that one a little bit. Anyway, hopefully you guys are enjoying this, but it is like watching paint dry. I understand that. Getting a little big, but all right. My brain is just going back and forth right now, going from like loving this to hating it, to wanting to blow it up, to keep it going, to... And I mean, if you don't have those feelings pretty much all the time, then you're not a... you're not yet a full-fledged designer. Constantly fighting with myself. My brain had it its way, it would delete everything and I would never finish a course, which is kind of how it was for the last 2 years, but... Okay. Lots of bunkers. Sitting in lots of weird ways. Too. All right. Love how this is sitting. Hill that kind of comes down into the green a little bit. All right. Well, it's something. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I started this saying, this is gonna be great, but I'm starting to have my doubts. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. We're at it for about 45 minutes, but we've made some progress. Will this hole continue, or will we blow it up? I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards we might blow it up, but I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you very much, and we'll see you next time.